All right, so here's the problem set. So today, you have like 2 pages here, back-to-back pages. So this makes 4 pages altogether. We're not going to do every single problem. What we're going to do is do the at least first 3 problems, okay? So reviewed this sheet. I just want to make sure you get the concepts okay at home. All right, so the first problem I'm going to do together, and then the second problem, I want you to give it a shot on your own. Make sure you're using pencil, okay? So I know I'm using pen because it's a lot easier to see pen through the video than it is from pencil. Sometimes the pencil can be very faint through this video. All right, so at the top, hopefully you got your name written down and what today's date is. Today's the 9th. Now what we're going to do is read the problem. So I'm going to zoom in on this problem, all right, and talk about a rectangular porch is 4 feet wide. It is 3 times as long as it is wide. Okay, so there's that multiplicative comparison, all right? It is 3 times as long as it is wide. I'm going to label the diagram with the dimensions of the porch. Okay, dimensions. You often see dimensions as a 3 by 7 or a 4 by 8, okay, or a 2 by 4, a lot in lumber world, okay? So here's our porch. So it says a rectangular porch is 4 feet wide and is 3 times as long wide, okay? So we're going to talk about 3 times as long as it is wide. We're going to talk about length being this way and width being this way, okay? So if I say it's 4 feet wide, I'm going to label that as 4 feet. So go ahead here, I'm going to label this as 4 feet. So that's 4 feet. And I noticed that there's 3 more of these little squares there. These are rectangles. So it's 3 times as long as it is wide. So what I'm going to do is make this basically 12, so it's 3 times as long. So this would be 4 feet, this would be 4 feet, this would be 4 feet. Do you see how I have 3 4 feet here? 1, 2, 3. It's 3 times it is wide. So altogether, it's 12. I'm just right it above here. It's 12 feet. It's 3 times 4 is 12 feet. See how that is? So the width is 4 feet, and the length is 3 times the length, which would be 12 feet, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Down here, it says find the perimeter of the porch. So I got to find the whole perimeter of the porch. Now remember what the perimeter was. Perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side. So I know that 4 feet is both these sides here. So I'm going to say that first. So I write down my formula, then I fill in the real numbers. What these sides are is 4 and 4. And the top is going to be 12 and 12. That's what I'm going to do, okay? So now what I need to do is add it up. And I feel like this is mental math. If it's not mental math for you, you write it out over here, okay? So what I see is 2 4s, and I know that's 8. And I see a 12. 8 and 12 is 20 because 2 and 8 are friends. And then 20 plus 12 is 32. Okay? So the perimeter is equal to 32 feet. That's my units. That's my length. Okay? That's my distance around. Let me zoom back out again. So that's what it should look like on your paper. Okay? All right. So here's 2. 2 is very similar to 1, except it doesn't give us the drawing here, okay? If you would like to pause the video, do this problem, and then come back and check your work, please do so. If not, just work along with me until you get the concept a little better, okay? So let me zoom back in here, okay? And get started. A narrow rectangular banner is 5 inches wide and 6 times as long as it is wide. Okay, so I have to write that down. So I'm going to use the same kind of thing up here. So I'm going to write down just a little square, okay? And I said, what is it, 5 inches wide. So we're going to talk about width being the height here, okay? And then it's 6 times as long. So I have to do 6 times here. So this is 1. Okay, so I need to add actually 5 more boxes to get 6, okay? So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put in, there's 2. I need to have a total of 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So I wouldn't add 6 more. I just count this as 1 and then add 5, okay? So now what I have here is all of these sides are 5. 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches. Now, it says that it's 6 times as long. So all I have to do is think to myself, all right, what is 6 times 5? If your answer was 30, you're correct. So this would be 30 inches, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There it is. So I drew that out, and there's my banner. A banner is like a sign or something like that, okay? Now find the perimeter and the area of the banner. I can do that, okay? So I know what, I write down my formula. Let me get centered here a little bit. P equals side plus side plus side plus side. Get in the habit. Every time you do perimeter, write down the formula. So perimeter equals, I'm going to write in the real numbers. All right, 5 inches. Opposite sides, 5 inches. Top side, we figured, is 30 inches. And the bottom side, okay, it's got to be the same as 30 inches. So I add them all up. I think this is mental math. 5 and 5 is 10, plus 30 is 40, plus 30 is 70. I get 70 inches as my perimeter, okay? Now the area. Area is equal to length times width. Remember, I want to write down my formula first. Then I come down and say area equals length, okay? That was this whole area here, which was 30, and the width, 5. 30 times 5. And we've been taught how to do this in 3rd grade. I know I went over this a bunch of times, and we hit it a few times this year as well, okay? So area. What I'm going to do is multiply. I know 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So 30 times 5 would be, you guessed it, 150. Well, what's my label? Remember what we measure area in? That's right, it's squares. So it's square, I'm just going to use abbreviation, SQ inches, square inches, all right? And there's my answer for that, okay? So my area is equal to 150 square inches and 70 inches distance around, okay? All right, let's move on to the back. All right, so here's the back. All right, I'm at the back of the first page here, okay? So we're gonna do this one together. If you feel courageous enough to do it on your own and then check back in, go ahead. This problem is a little bit different, okay? So let's take a look at it. It says the area of a rectangle is 42 square centimeters. Its length is 7 centimeters, okay? So what I wanna do is draw it. So what is the width of the rectangle? Okay, so that's what the question is. What is the width of the rectangle? All right, so I know that area is equal to length times width, okay? So I'm gonna put my numbers in there. So I gotta find the width. I gotta find that right there. I gotta find the width of the rectangle, okay? So here's my rectangle. Let's draw a rectangle here like this. All right, I know, so here's my width, and I know that its length is 7 centimeters. Okay, so I just write that in. But I do know the area. The area is 42 square centimeters. Okay, that's the whole area in between there. All right, so I gotta figure out W. So what I'm gonna do is shift over here and start putting in my real numbers, the numbers that I know. All right, so my area on the inside is 42. So I'm just gonna write down a 42 for A. See how I just wrote that down there? And then my length, I know my length, 7. Notice I'm not putting the labels into my work, okay? I'm gonna leave that, no labels on there, because I want that looking clean. And then I've got W. I don't know what W is. We call this a variable when a letter represents a number, okay? So we don't know what that one is. So there's a couple different ways I can figure this out. I could ask myself, okay, well, what number times 7 is 42? And if you're really good with your math facts, I bet you that just sticks out to you just sticks out to you. All right? And I know, or if you don't know, you can divide. You could say, well, 42 divided by 7 will equal this number, okay? So either way, you could do that, all right? So if you know your math facts, so what times 7 equals 42? Well, I know that I know that, well, 42 divided by 7 is equal to 6. That's right. So W is equal to 6 centimeters. Okay? So my W up there is 6. All right? Because 6 times 7 is 42. Some of you probably saw that right off the bat. Couldn't help your brains from working and got it figured out. And if your brain solved this problem before you wrote anything down, that's great. The first tool you use is your brain. Don't ever forget that, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next question. So it's still working off of this. See, there's an A and there's a B. So Charlie wants to draw a second rectangle that's the same length, but is 3 times as wide. Oh, there it is, the multiplicative comparisons. We'll draw and label Charlie's second rectangle. Okay. So there's this rectangle. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see more of the paper here, okay? And I'm going to draw and label this. So I'm going to give myself some room. I'm going to draw that rectangle right down here, okay? And I know the height of this was 7 centimeters, okay? Or the length of it. Now he wants to draw this, all right, 3 times as wide. So I need to draw 2 more of these to make 3 altogether, okay? There. All right, so I know the top, W here was 6. This is 6. I'm gonna do 2 more 6s, so there's 3 times as wide. All right, so if it was just 1 time, it would just be 1 times 6, but it's 3 times 6, okay? So inch, or is it inch? No, centimeters, whoops. Centimeter, centimeter, centimeter. Cool, got that. All right, so I need to know what 3 sixes is equal to. What is 3 times 6? And my answer here is 18 centimeters. Good. So that's what the question asked me to do. That's the second rectangle. It's 7 by 18. Okay. Now it says down here, what is the perimeter of Charlie's? So let me get back into the picture here. There we go. Now, what is the perimeter of Charlie's second rectangle? This is the second one. I need to find the perimeter. What's the first step? First step is writing down the formula. That's right. Let's get the formula written down first. Good. So then perimeter is equal to side plus side plus side plus side. So here's this side. That's 7. Plus the opposite side. That's 7. Rectangles of opposite sides are equal. Then the top side is 18. And the bottom side is 18. Okay? All right. So now I have to add this up. Feel free to use the workspace over here to add it up if you need to. Or if you can use your brain, go ahead. I know 7 and 18, that's 25. So it'd be 25 plus 25. That's 50 centimeters. Remember, it's not square centimeters. Perimeter is like the fencing around a field, okay? All right, there's that. So that's good. Now, that's the perimeter of that rectangle. Good. That problem's done. All right. All right. So the area of Betsy's rectangular sandbox is 20 square feet, period, stop. All right, I know the area, and I know it's a sandbox. Okay, it's Betsy's sandbox. The area is 20 square feet. Okay. All right, so a sandbox, I get it. All right, so I'm gonna draw that out down here, I think. I know the sandboxes, I've seen them over at the crossings before. We play in a sandbox. It's got like a wooden surrounding and the sand on the inside's like the area. Okay. The longer side measures 5 feet. Okay, so it's got a long side that measures 5 feet. The sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide as Betsy's. Okay. So the sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide as Betsy's. All right, see, there's no question here. That means all of this stuff was just clues. Now, this last sentence kind of confuses me a little bit. So I got parts of it, but let's read what it says here first and see if we can make more sense out of it. It says, draw and label a diagram of Betsy's sandbox. What is the perimeter? All right, so I'm going to give this a shot. So Betsy's sandbox is 20 square feet. So I'm going to draw a sandbox here like that. And it says the longer side is 5 feet. So I'm just going to write this down as 5 feet. I'll write it here. It's 5 feet. Okay. All right, and the area, this is the inside area, is 20 square feet. Okay, so it's 20 square feet in the inside. All right, so I need to know what the perimeter of this is. This is what it's asking me, is the perimeter. So I don't know what this side is here, all right? So I don't know what, I don't know the width of it is, all right? I don't know that side. Okay, so I'm sure I can figure that out. So if I know that area is equal to length times width, I know this would be 20 is equal to 5 times W, right? So I have to ask myself, what times 5 is 20? We should know this, right? What does W equal here? What times 5 is 20? If you said 4 feet, you're correct. All right, it's 4 feet. So now I know that W is 4 feet. So now it asks me, what's the perimeter of Betsy's sandbox? Okay, so I know the top's 4. So P equals side plus side plus side plus side. P equals 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4, right? 5 and 5, 4 and 4, right? So P is equal to 10 and 8, 18 feet. I answered that question. All right. So over here it says, draw and label a diagram of the sandbox at the park. So up here is my clues. The sandbox at the park is twice as long and twice as wide. Okay, twice as long and twice as wide. Well, let's draw that out. I'm gonna start off with one of the same exact size as I got here, okay? And I'm gonna say this is 5 feet, this is 4 feet, okay? There, now it's twice as long and twice as wide. So it's 2 times this way, 2 times that way. So I'm gonna go 2 times this way first. Twice as wide, so it's another 4, right? 2 4s, right? And twice as long. 2 5s. Okay, so I have to fill in this square too, right? Because the sandbox wouldn't look like that. All right, so there it is. I've figured out the size of that. So I need to know, what is the perimeter? Okay, so I know 2 4s here is 8 feet. And 2 5s is 10 feet. So my perimeter, if I write it down here, equals side plus side plus side plus side. Kids, at any moment you need to pause and catch up or rewind and figure this out. Be my guest. That's what it's here for. So I have to write down the length of my side. So I've got 8 feet. P equals 8 plus 8, right? 8, 8 plus 10 plus opposite sides equal 10. Okay. Now I have to add them all up. Perimeter is equal to, let's see, 18 plus 18, right? Or I can do 16 plus 20. That's 36 feet. All right, I figured it out. That's great. All right. So what is the relationship between the two perimeters? The relationship, I think it's asking us if what is the, the multiplicative comparison. Having a hard time saying that word today, all right? So Betsy's, all right, sandbox. Betsy's sandbox is equal to 18 feet. And the park's is equal to 36 feet, okay? So I need to know what the difference is here, and I kind of figured it out over here, all right? It seems like the perimeter, the perimeter, is how many times? How many times bigger? That's right, it's 2 times larger at the park than Betsy's. Could have said that a lot better, but we get the point. How do you spell, okay, Betsy's? Capital B, Betsy's sandbox. So the perimeter at the park is 2 times larger, so 2 18s, okay? All right, over here is find the area of the park sandbox using the area equals length times width, okay? So area is equal to L times W. So area is equal, my length, let's see, is 10 times 8. Oh, I know that one right away. So area is equal to, what's 10/8? You guessed it, that would be 80 square feet. Good, the area is 80 square feet. Nice job, there it is. Okay. All right, looks like, all right. I think we're gonna end right there. If you wanted to finish the last 2, you can, but I feel like we've had enough today, and I feel like you did, hopefully you did a pretty good job. If you need to replay this video, be my guest. All right, the last 2 will be something that you can do on your own, but hopefully you got the concepts okay. I want you to bring these papers back tomorrow and show your teacher that you gave it a shot and did it okay. And that's it, all right? Hopefully you had a good time in math today, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.